What was your innovation for Falling Walls 2019?
My innovation will start with something very simple, and that is tomato and chili. Right? We love somtam. Who doesn't love somtam? Right? Somtam, which has main ingredient chili and tomato. But then there's this major disease called wilt disease that will destroy a lot of chili and tomato. So it means that next time you have somtam, you may not have chili and tomato. I don't think people will like that. So, and then this wilt disease is caused by a pathogenic, a bad bacteria that lives in the soil. And using pesticides, of course, we don't want to use that. And it's difficult because the pesticide cannot really attack or reach the bacteria in the soil anyway. So we come up with, we have a new solution. And this is a natural solution because we extract something called bacteriophage. It's bacterial virus. It's a virus that can kill the bad bacteria. This is a cool story. Using something from nature to fight against nature. I like to share this story. And everyone has his or her own story.
What makes successful research?
The key is the impact to users. Okay. And at some point in time, those merit will need to come back to people. So if we start with how we're going to make impact, maybe not in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, doesn't matter, but it will make better. Start from that impact. I think that's the key, if we all have that goal.
What did you learn during the training provided by
The
KMITL?
one thing that I learned, and I'm still using it until these days, and I'm sure I'm going to use it forever, is that everyone is a storyteller. Everyone. You have your own story. Think of when you have dinner with your friend, and you want to gossip your boss, maybe. That's simple, right? And say, hey, I have something to tell you. That's essentially what this is about. So it's just changing the topic from talking about your boss or your employees to your work, which is even easier because you have something to tell and you're proud about it for sure. So I think that key thing is okay. So from that, when I want to talk about my research not just to general audience, even to the expert, to the committee, to defend my proposal, I used it that it's gonna be a story. There's a why do we need to want to do it, because the story has where it's come from. You have the story. I think that the one thing that I love the most, and it sounds cliche for some people and it sounds very obvious, of course, but it's not obvious. I don't think it's obvious. And if you think about it hard enough, you will know that it's not as easy. So that's one thing I learned. It made me think a lot more about what I want to tell people about. Yeah.
What makes a scientific story a good story?
Something that people can relate. And if people can relate to what you're talking about, they will think that your story is good. I think long time ago, I listened to one of the TED Talk, or I'm not sure, and then he asked, how do you decide if this is a good presentation? How do people decide when they come out from the hall or the lectures and say, oh, that's awesome lectures? How? The only thing that people say that is because they understand what they're talking about. If they don't understand, they will have zero feedback. It's like, yeah, sure. So, and how do you make people understand? They have to be able to feel it, touch it, or think about it, touch upon their heart, their mind, and something people can relate. And I know, people are like, oh, I'm working on quantum physics. How do you make that? Think about the application of something that you can make some, quantum computer. Again, this is probably not the most accurate thing I'm going to say now, even though I'm a physicist. And you can make some computer faster, or there's always something people can connect. There's so many things in your life. Think about it, right? So many things. It's not just eat, go to sleep and work. No. And Korean drama, maybe song, maybe you drive something. So many things. So there will always be something that people can relate to your work. Always. There's something people can relate. And start from that one thing. And from that, and draw the listener to your story. You can do that. But if you start from something you want to tell, I have this new technology, blah blah. People who never use that technology, never heard of it, then sure, but what? So what? Because they don't. It doesn't matter to them. Yeah.
How did you stay calm?
I didn't. The fact is that I was so excited. I remember that I need to kind of stretch. The room was pretty cold there, and then I basically went back to the basics. Say that I'm gonna tell my story. This is my story. No one can tell this story better than me. So having that confidence and having the mindset that I'm gonna tell this story, not to compete, and of course it's a competition, but maybe if you just don't think about the competition part, the best invention part, the thing about I have a story I'm gonna tell you about this thing. Have you done that? Yeah, that is something to do with this innovation. Then all those anxiety will be kind of disappear a bit, kind of diffuse a bit, and then you can be yourself, tell your story. I think that's for me. That happened for me. I went upstage and basically tell my story. Have you grow the plant, blah blah blah. It was fun. It was just a fun thing to do.
Do you remember other innovations presented at Falling Walls Lab Thailand?
I remember a few. I remember the detection kit for tuberculosis. I remember electronic nose. I think that's one person from Mahidol University. I think the first presenter was from the Philippines, presenting on green architectural way for the green city. So when I listened to this talk, I was like, man, they all have great work. I mean, you hear about, let's say, if I'm gonna tell you that, hey, I have a new way to design a green city, you know it's gonna be impact. I don't need to tell you more. I will, of course, but you know it's gonna be huge impact. I have a detection kit for this new disease or some disease like tuberculosis, any disease, COVID. You know there's gonna be impact. So I found and then I think about my works like chili, tomato, really, and I felt discouraged somewhat a bit. I was like, man, I shouldn't have been here, Jesus. But anyway, then again, going back to the same, you shouldn't be too low or too high. You shouldn't be too excited about your work. Oh my God, this is the best thing. Just tell your story, man. Have fun. Just go have fun. So when that happened, I feel like, okay, I'm gonna just do my best.
Did you meet interesting people across academic fields?
The event was a great opportunity to meet people from all over the countries. I think when 2 years ago there also was one professor from the south, Prince of Songkla University, present on the rubber work. I think one of the work. So, and I'm from the south also, but it's very unlikely that I will meet him. Very unlikely, right? So for me to have a chance to listen about his work and to talk to him after that, hey, you work on that? I'm from the south too. Have you worked on this? Have you measured that? Because I'm a physicist, so I kind of want to hear more. And that's about electronic nose again. It's just a great way to meet and exchange ideas. I know that some of the participants will already have a chance to be in conference, and those are great too for your work, of course, great. But this is from different background, from people who done something great in their respective fields, and you cannot really find a chance to go to a conference with like all the work. It's like all work are except here. No, that's not how conference works. So this is a unique opportunity. Even though you don't work in that field, but trust me, knowing more people, learning more things will never hurt you, ever.
What was the most memorable moment for you during Falling Walls Lab Thailand?
That was when my name got called on the stage. I think there are like 3 people that the name got called into the stage and say that this one of these will be the winner. When they call my name to be on the stage, I was like, what the heck? And then I think so, because they were great work. You can pick 3 of these, any participant, and it will be great. They will do best work to represent Thailand. Anyway, so they all great work. So for my name to get called, I was very happy. Of course, I was a bit, what, really? Are you sure? Are you sure this is a good name? Because I was like, Udom, really Udom, right? And so, and then just having a chance to be in the last, and the three finalists, for me, that was great. And to win, that was like, even beyond my expectation, because I have zero expectation. But to name God calls, like, oh, so I did a good job, right? At least. So that's my moment. It's like, okay, I learned. It was rewarding for sure, and I feel like that keep me going a little bit more.
What's so special about the Falling Walls conference?
The event was huge. There was not only Falling Wall Labs, but there are Falling Wall innovation. There was like conference in the same event, and the event is basically almost a whole week. So the event is basically the gathering of all innovators around the world. That by itself is you cannot get that anywhere ever. That's probably the only one time in my life that I have a chance to event in such a big event. But now going to the part that I participate, Falling Wall Labs, we have 100 of the Falling Wall winners from 70 countries.
Whom did you meet in Berlin?
I talked to a guy. I think his name is Hideki from Japan. He works on some physics, and then I talk with Alexandro from Italy. He worked on the glass that detect the movement of the eyes and analyze the cognitive problem in your brain. Talk to the guy Saman from Ivory Coast, I think, working on biocontrol from Cacao. It's working to a pilot from Mexico, working all different backgrounds, different great works. I couldn't ask enough questions. I couldn't listen enough of their works. Like, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? For me, at the end of the day, it was all this exchange of ideas, knowledge, innovation, visions, because they come with ambition. They say, I want to do this because this is important, and you can feel that. You can feel passion when they talk about their own work, and I think that's what we need, right?
How did the euraxess prize add to the experience?
We will offer a prize money from the euraxess as well to travel to visit some any lab that you like to visit in Europe. So I had a chance to visit University of Humboldt in Berlin, and then University of Groningen in the Netherlands. So having a chance to meet to the leading scientists in their field, and I'm a researcher, I'm a physicist, so I always want to meet them. Have been reading their work for ages, so having a chance to meet them and exchange ideas, what can we do? If there any way we can work together, that I still keep in contact with them until now, even though with the COVID and blah blah blah, but we still exchange some idea. Hey, have you seen this call proposal? Have you thought about it? So we have that.
Has Falling Walls changed your life?
I want to be better. I want myself to be better. And when having a chance to participate in the Falling Walls, I received a lot of feedback from just sharing my idea. I shared my idea with the pilot from Mexico. He asked about what biocontrol, what is it even, right? It's like, this is about that. Maybe he has some question. It's like, not like that. It's like this. It's not using. So having to talk to people from different backgrounds give me feedback and shape how I communicate my work to others. And listen to all the feedback, all the talks from comments from different people, different backgrounds. It's kind of make me aware that now when I'm gonna tell my story, tell my work, have I thought about that? Have I thought about this part if it's my message doesn't get across in any way? And I feel like that makes me slightly better at communicating science, just slightly better. But that's enough. Slightly better is enough.
Do you have any advice for applicants?
Yes. Well, my first advice is to do it. Please, you lose nothing. You will say like, I need to prepare. Yes, of course. But you need to prepare in everything anyway. But you lose nothing, literally nothing. You don't need to pay for anything. You have it's like a a chance to talk to people, to tell your story. I mean, you lose nothing to be in this event. So please do that. That's for sure. The second advice is actually to talk to you. Because I met you on the first day of the workshop, and you asked about my work, and I saw the question in your eyes, because I was talking about physics of virus and then the bacterial virus, and you were like, what? And you didn't say that. You said, oh, good. But that your good means I said something that makes zero sense to him. So at that time, I revamped my whole pitch. So again, try to explain your work to others, okay? And probe, engage the feedback. And don't take it as personal thing. If they don't understand your work, it's just because they come from different background. And that brings my third point. That brings up my third point is that if people can understand your work, the impact will be larger. To make people understand your work is to bridge from the audience to you. Something that people can relate. Something. There is always something that you can share. You have to connect from that to you. Because if you start from yourself, you don't know. If you start from yourself, are you sure you're gonna reach? Maybe you can reach the audience, maybe you're not. But if you start from them, if you reach them, because you start from them, you start from the user, the impact to people, and I said at the beginning, you start from them and you pull it to you. I think at the end, it's a collective effort of innovators, of creators to make the world a better place. So people don't work individual anymore. We work as a team.
What is the ideal audience when drafting a pitch?
That come from with the zero background, but will listen to your story. What would you like to tell them? I think that's the key for me. Yeah. Of course, now it's different if you talk to the expert in the field, and another story, that's for sure. But it doesn't hurt ever to think about it in terms of how can I tell this story to the world. It doesn't hurt that way.
Is there anything you would do differently next time?
I would change my pitch in Berlin. I felt like at that time, oh yes, there were 100 pitch. 100. And I felt like, and all our pitch are great. I felt like I should make my pitch a little bit more outstanding. I felt like my pitch was just basic, not just like basic storytelling, but I felt like if you want to be remembered, a little bit something has to be stand out. I remember the lady that won the second prize from the Netherlands. I think she said something like funny as a joke or something. I didn't remember exact joke. There's like, oh yeah, some joke, and people laugh. And I was like, yeah, if I could go back, I would try to make people laugh more. People remember the story, and people remember how you make them feel. I wish I could go back and change and make people laugh at least one was in my pitch in Berlin. I wish that. Yeah.